And there's again one more session from Liz for XM Cloud Roadmap. So I'm interested in these kind of sessions in Symposium.
I noticed you didn't say my session, so that's fine. I won't take any offense to that,
Maggie.
but it's fine. It's fine.
It's there, but
I noticed John was mentioned more than once, and I wasn't.
I'm looking
mentioned
forward to your
at all.
session.
Thank you. That's nice, even though you're lying, but that was nice. Welcome, and thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Sitecore Water Cooler, the casual conversation podcast dedicated to covering all things related to Sitecore, including product updates, implementation insights, getting the most out of your Sitecore investment, and more. I'm your co-host today, Maggie Burke, Sitecore Operations Director and Sitecore MVP at AmericanEagle.com. Well, here we are, folks. The time has finally come, and we are a week away from Sitecore Symposium 2024, Sitecore's largest event that has thousands from the Sitecore community come together to network, hear inspiring insights from Sitecore's top executives, and be the first to know about exciting announcements regarding the latest Sitecore products. Conference goers will also get the opportunity to attend motivating breakout sessions over the 3 days of the conference, featuring sessions designed for marketers, developers, and practitioners. Our very own team is a part of 6 different sessions you can attend next week, and we have some of the team on to discuss those today. We are joined today by members of our architect team, James Gregory, Ahmed Akour, Alex Lentz, Mohammed Sayem, Gaurav Agarwal, and Jared Arnofsky, as well as the VP of our Sitecore department and co-host, Jonathan Price. Gentlemen, welcome to the water cooler.
thank you for having
Great
us.
to be here.
We've got quite a packed house today. I think we checked before, and this is the most that we've ever actually had in our podcast studio. So definitely happy to have all of you guys here, especially Mohammed and Gaurav, because we were able to actually get you guys in person, and you'll be attending the conference next week. And Jared, who's not in person, but he will be actually at the conference with us next week. So definitely looking forward to that. So as I alluded to, Sitecore Symposium is Sitecore's largest event. It's a 3-day conference. But starting before that even kicks off, we actually have MVP Summit. MVPs are awarded throughout the year for different contributions that they make to the Sitecore community, whether it's blogs, some of these podcasts, just different outreach to make sure that the Sitecore community knows all the latest and greatest things that are kind of happening throughout, whether they're kind of getting over a hurdle, breaking through any new code developments, or just kind of being an ambassador or an evangelist for the Sitecore products itself. So they award team members usually at the beginning of each year, and then you kind of go throughout the year and obviously, give your different contributions. And then MVP Summit is an event that happens prior to Sitecore Symposium actually kicking off. And it's an exclusive kind of community-driven event that focuses all around just kind of exclusive information for people that are awarded Sitecore MVP. And so I wanted to kick it over to the team just to kind of talk through some of the things that maybe we're looking forward to. A lot of the people in this room are multi-year MVPs, but I specifically want to look at you, Jared, because this is actually your first year as a Sitecore MVP. So is there anything that you're really looking forward to with just specifically the MVP Summit?
Yeah. Over the past 10 years or so, I've read a lot of blogs. I've interacted with many people in the community via Slack, other boards, and more recently presenting virtually in user groups and stuff like that. So I'm just really excited to meet people in person, catch up, and it's going to be my first symposium as well. So been doing Sitecore for almost a decade, and I've heard stories and about how great it is. So I'm just really excited to go and see everyone here in person as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. There's definitely different breakout sessions that happen. They have different people from, the Sitecore's executive team that kind of give keynote speaking sessions at MVP Summit specifically. And then they also do kind of roundtables where people get to kind of do different discussions and things like that around just some of the updates that are coming in the Sitecore community, as well as then, like I said, breakout sessions that are more community exclusive and exclusive to just the people that were awarded MVP for some information that's not even going to be released to the public yet. So it should be a very exciting MVP Summit. And then it always wraps up with an MVP event itself, which is, some kind of dinner and entertainment. Last year there was axe throwing, and I'm going to face off against Gaurav again this year. I don't know if it'll be axe throwing. I think the event this year is, I believe I read it's going to be at Dave & Buster's. So there'll be some sort of arcade games. And it's on, Gaurav. I just want you to know that the competition is there. Okay, good. Great. So anything else in terms of MVP Summit that anybody wants to comment on in terms of anything that they're looking forward to, whether, again, it's just some of those roundtable sessions. I know we can't specifically talk about any of the breakout sessions that might be happening or anything like that, but any other tidbits before we kind of kick back over to the conference?
think this is the first MVP summit under the new guidance of Eric Stein, Dave O, and Roger Connolly. So just looking forward to kind of the new direction, kind of their vision for not just the product side, but also how they're going to enable clients to be successful. So I think this is going to be interesting to kind of hear that narrative this year.
Absolutely. Great. No, that's a really good point, because I do feel like with this kind of new direction and things like that, in terms of the leadership over there, it's obviously always exciting to kind of hear, preemptively what we're going to hear at MVP Summit, and then obviously what leads into some of the keynotes that will be discussed when we're at the actual conference. So leading into it, kind of going over that, we go into actual Sitecore Symposium, which kicks off on Wednesday morning of next week. And so again, it's a 3-day conference that is going to have different kind of keynote sessions, main stage sessions. We're going to hear from different members of the C-suite over at Sitecore, as well as a specific and special keynote session from Olympian Katie Ledecky, which I personally am very excited for. I think that's going to be a very, very cool session. It's always inspiring to kind of hear from, I think sometimes it's nice to hear from people that are outside of the tech world and how they kind of relate that back to some of the inspiring things we're going to talk about with Sitecore. So that being said, are there any sessions that anybody's looked at in terms of the agenda that they're most excited for? Maybe I'll look over to Gaurav and Mohammed first. Just any sessions that you guys are most excited about attending next week.
Yeah, there will be plenty of interesting sessions, Maggie. Mainly I'm looking for the product roadmaps. We have Sitecore product teams talking about like what's coming, the research and development they're doing. So as example, on the 16th, we have Content Hub roadmap by the Content Hub product team. Also on the 16th, we have Sitecore XM XP Managed Cloud R&D roadmap as well, where the team will be outlines their strategic vision and key milestones for the upcoming 12 to 18 months. Also on the 16th, we have Order Cloud roadmap. We have on the 17th, Sitecore XM Cloud R&D roadmap as well. Also on the 18th, we have XM Cloud Experience and AI roadmap and the demos. So basically, the team will give us like a sneak peek into the AI plans for XM Cloud. So that would be interesting. And of course, like we're all looking forward to attend the keynote, which is the power to build for measurable impact. That's the maybe everyone is looking for that keynote. The Sitecore CEO, CPO, and CMO will share their visions for the near future. There will be a lot of other interesting sessions as well. I will give it to Gaurav to mention it as well.
Yeah, actually, this is the first time I'm attending the symposium event, so this is going to be fun for me because I never attended symposium. I do attend the MVP, but this is the first time I'm going to do the symposium. So I'm interested in many, but if I'll start, then I'll start with the keynote. That is like going to give Sitecore CEO Dave, Roger, and Kathy. And then there is customer showcase on 16, like going to give by Jonathan Price and Charlie from United. So I'm more exciting to see like Jonathan Price again on the stage.
That might only make one of us, but
I'll try not to disappoint you, Gaurav.
Yeah.
Then we have session for again our colleagues Alex and Ahmed. That's going to be houseful again. We see the site has lots of subscription right now. Then we have some roadmaps, Sitecore Content Hub and Sitecore XPXM by Sitecore people. Then there is a one that I'm interested with the Lidge session, that is next generation front end development with XM Cloud. That is more developer centric, but it's going to be very fun. Then I have some more session for 17. There is like future proofing you and your organization by Eric. So he's an author and he's going to talk about his experience and competitions. There's some session like from Jonathan Price and James with Vercel. So there's a panel that is going to tell us about this thing and how we can make most of it. And there's again one more session from Liz for XM Cloud Roadmap. So I'm interested in these kind of sessions in symposium.
I noticed you didn't say my session, so that's fine. I won't take any offense to that,
Maggie.
but it's fine. It's fine.
It's there, but
I noticed John was mentioned more than once, and I wasn't.
I'm looking
mentioned
forward to your
at all,
session.
but thank you. That's nice, even though you're lying, but that was nice. Good stuff.
I mean, I'm looking forward to your session, Maggie.
Thanks,
First
Alex.
and foremost, yep. And I'm nowhere near as prepared as these guys. But there is a session about accelerating your XM cloud build out with multi-site or something.
Mhm.
I'm excited about that one.
Yeah.
That's something that we have had a number of different encounters with, and we've had to solve different problems in interesting ways. So I'm interested to see what they have to say about that.
Yeah.
And there is another session by Liz. She's talking about the new developer experience with XM Cloud. So it's not about features; it's more about like how to improve the experience for developers, and like and like kind of like addresses the major pain points that we currently have. So I'm definitely going to be attending that one.
Yeah, and I think that's great. I think you guys are all hitting on very key points, which is the fact that, these sessions are meant to be things that we can actually take away and learn a lot of things from. So whether it's roadmap sessions or it's things that are specific to, hey, yeah, we're not going to necessarily talk about the features. We're going to talk about things that are going to enhance the developer experience, which is obviously going to ring home for all of you. And then Alex, to your point, like there's going to be sessions about things that we're running into on a day-to-day basis with clients. So these are takeaways and things that we can definitely learn from. So a lot of very exciting sessions to attend.
Another session that caught my eye was on Thursday, introducing Sitecore's marketplace. So kind of a sneak peek into where Sitecore is going with the marketplace. So it'd be interesting to see that one.
Yeah, you got a lot of very excited reactions to that one. So I think that one's definitely going to be a key one.
I'm hoping that one talks about like extending XM Cloud in one way or another, because it feels like, from the description of that session, it feels like it's going to be the new way to extend XM Cloud.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, that's great. Definitely a lot of very cool, exciting sessions to see. And as we trickled in there's 6 sessions actually from our own team that we'll be presenting on next week. So kind of want to hit on just some sneak peeks into those sessions. So I'll start with you, John, just because we do have a main stage session with United Airlines. So can you tell us a little bit about what that session is going to be like and what people can look forward to?
Yeah, absolutely, Maggie. Thank you. So we have a few sessions with United Airlines next week. Super excited about each one of them. But the main stage specifically is going to go through the journey that they have gone with Sitecore since 2015. So majority of people in the audience are likely existing Sitecore customers, maybe started at XM, XP. And we wanted the session to be relevant to them on how they can gradually grow into the SaaS composable roadmap with Sitecore and how they've realized kind of gains, efficiencies, and how Sitecore has enabled them to do it progressively. I think there's a lot of misconceptions out in the marketplace, especially in the Sitecore community, where it's kind of an all or nothing deal. And United is really kind of the epitome and great working example of how you can progressively move into composable. So a couple great speakers from United, Darius Florchik and Charlie Hong, from two very different sides of the business, where they're going to give each one of their stories, how they piggybacked on each other, where they honestly were not used to working with each other in the past, but honestly, Sitecore has helped them come together to kind of realize the same technology and kind of realizing both their business goals. So it's going to be a little bit of an end-to-end story. 10 minutes is going to be a bit of a tough task to tell it all, but we have a breakout following that to kind of dive into more detail. And we're the first Power to Build session up right after Davo, after the keynote on Wednesday. So no pressure, should be easy to follow that one.
Yeah, no pressure at all, especially to fit that into 10 minutes. I'm sure that's going to go over well. No, I'm excited for that session. Again, you're hearing 2 different perspectives for sure. And then to your point, it's talking through, people don't have to just make the leap into XM Cloud. It's really telling that story about that progression. So I think that's very exciting for people to hear and try to relate to. So that's great. Another one of our sessions is actually going to be co-presented with Vercel. So James, you and John are going to be speaking to that. Can you give us a little bit of a sneak peek to what people can expect for that session?
Yeah, sure. So we've seen a lot of success with projects leveraging Vercel, where it really increases the velocity of the project and reduces the timeline. So just giving some tips and helping to demystify that transition for clients and understanding, what does it take? Maybe just planning wise, licensing, staffing, how to maintain the product going forward, and just kind of answer some of those questions to make a clear picture to transition into the headless space so they can benefit from those. But yeah, we're totally honored to have the CTO also able to join us.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. And it's a panel session too, right? So it's more of a
I'm going to moderate it, and
Nice.
The smart people, James and Malta, are going to go dive deeper into the deep technical aspects, but also the business reasons on why to go to Vercel.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of, again, misconceptions on what Vercel is, the business value it brings, and hopefully gives the audience some talking points on how to transition to it.
Perfect. And then we actually have another one too about one of our recent Sitecore search implementations. And that's going to be Jared, yourself, with Richard Seal from Sitecore. So you want to give us a bit of a sneak peek into what they can expect for that session as well?
Sure. Yeah. So our session is called Sitecore Search and B2B Scale. It's Raven Industries And it's about building a federated search using the JS SDK and just leveraging the tools that Sitecore Search gives you out of the box. We had 6 sources of data across various websites. Actually, nothing lived in Sitecore itself. 7,000 PDFs and 44 languages. So we're just going to dive into like how we built that, how we did it, and made one unified federated search.
Very exciting. Very cool session. All right. I have a session that I know these guys are all very excited to see and hear from what everyone's take on their sessions they're looking forward to. But I'll be presenting with one of our architects on our team, Tim Shanahan, as well as our client, Westfield Insurance. So Principal Enterprise Architect Christian Coughlin is going to be presenting with us as well. And it's really just Westfield's story from, again, that journey from XP to XM Cloud and the steps that it took to get to their exciting launch that's actually going to be happening the week after Symposium. So we're going to discuss kind of the initial journey and what led to the key decisions that were made, as well as just share some of the highlights of the actual build of their website and some of the capabilities with XM Cloud. So it's definitely going to be a session that people don't want to miss. And then our final session that we're going to have is actually another breakout session with Alex and Ahmed covering some interesting things with Gen AI. So can you guys give us a little bit of a sneak peek to what people can expect for that session as well?
In the recent months, not even years, Gen AI has been improving in the coding area. So it has been able to produce really working code for you. And there has been a lot of products out there that helps people move faster with their coding, tasks. So the idea came how can we use that with Sitecore XM Cloud or Sitecore JSS, and how can we utilize that? So one of the areas that we started with is code conversion. So if you have your old XMXP code, we created a tool that can convert the code from Scriven or MVC to the new JSS code format. We also started to experiment design to code. So there are 2 different ways to do this. You can basically selected a wireframe or an image that you have of your component, and then ask AI to convert that to a working JSS component. And also we started recently to implement a plugin for Figma to import it. It's designed directly from Figma to code. And we actually created a public website for this, so people can try it online and see and give us feedback.
Very cool. I will say we've done some practice nights around these sessions and just making sure that we're all aligned. And while I'm very excited for all 6 sessions that we're going to have, I would say the one that you guys have is the one I'm most excited to see. The tool that these guys built is very cool, and it's definitely a session that people should be attending.
And maybe it's worth mentioning, it's inspired by Vercel V0. It's not the same, but it's the generative UI term has been becoming more famous recently, and how can you just from a prompt or an image, can you convert that to an actual working UI? So we're trying to do the same, not competing with V0.
No, it's worth shouting those guys out, and again, with AI really building up the buzz around it, it's just cool to kind of focus at something that's specific to the Sitecore world and Sitecore space. So very cool.
And to double down, what you mentioned is you can actually try it following the session. There's a lot of tools out there that are advertising things like this. This is something people can actually get their hands on, which I think is an awesome thing you guys have done here. So to echo Maggie's points, I think a lot of people are looking forward to it.
Yep. Definitely be sure to attend it. It's Wednesday morning, correct?
It's Wednesday. It's the first breakout session.
All right. So be sure to attend,
so
people.
It's the first one in the schedule.
Yeah. Again, make sure you're putting my session on your list as well, but make sure you guys attend theirs. So very cool. All right. James, Ahmed, Alex, Mohammed, Gaurav, Jared, John. That's a mouthful with how many of you guys are in here. Thank you all for joining us at the water cooler today. I look forward to collaborating with you guys in the future, and we hope to have you back on the water cooler again soon. We cannot wait to show up to Symposium in a big way. As a Diamond sponsor, we're excited to lead our 6 speaking sessions throughout the week, including a main stage presentation with our client, United Airlines. We're going to be celebrating some amazing customer awards and hosting our very own event on Broadway. So definitely excited to pop down Broadway with some light up cowboy hats from what I hear. So very excited for that as well. Be sure to stop by and say hi at our booth and enter to win our massive dream vacation giveaway with United Airlines and receive in-person website assessments as well. Can't wait to really catch everybody down in Music City. And we'll also be recording our own podcast with this similar team to talk about some of the key takeaways from Nashville and some of the things that we learned. But I also believe we are going to have another podcast too recorded after Symposium, right, John?
Yeah, super excited. So Symposium's next week, hard to believe. Then we're going to have a debrief of major takeaways and some other exciting announcements. One of the goals that we had when we originally created the Sitecore water cooler was having people on from Sitecore directly. And now we can probably say we're going to have Dave Flanagan on, the CEO of Sitecore, to kind of break down a lot of those key takeaways. Look out for the promotions, but that will be coming late October. So super excited for that.
Wow, that's going to be definitely a must listen. So very cool. All right. Well, thank you guys for attending today. And thanks for listening to the Sitecore Water Cooler Podcast. Find out more information about AmericanEagle.com's Sitecore services and today's topic in the description below. This episode is brought to you by AmericanEagle.com Studios. I'm your host, Maggie Burke, and special thanks to our executive producers, Renee Nelson, Julia Klepich, and Brian Winger.